Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree is going to be another soulless, corporatized, brain dead cash grab. I was literally astounded with the trailer for Shadow of the Turd Tree. I was literally mind blown. I mean, I was actually...
Damn bro, first DSP, now this guy? How many people are gonna make an Elden Ring bad video about the DLC? Ever since the Shadow of the Erdtree reveal, I've seen a lot of these people in tons of comment sections. I've seen them on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere, basically just saying Elden Ring DLC bad. And I don't really understand it because every single From Software DLC we've ever got in the past has always been historically really good. But according to tons of people on the internet, DSP, and the individual that we're going to be looking at today, the DLC is just gonna suck. Now I found this video because one of my viewers actually commented on one of my videos saying, have you seen EZGaming's review of the Elden Ring DLC? And I decided to go check it out and I was not disappointed.
Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree is going to be another soulless, corporatized, brain dead cash grab.
He says another brain-dead soulless cash grab as if From Software's ever released one of those before. Let's go through all the DLC that's ever existed for From Software's games. Now first up we have Artorias of the Abyss. This was the first ever From Software DLC and it launched for Dark Souls 1. Now this DLC would give you 4 bosses, all of very high quality. The Sanctuary Guardian, a really cool boss. You had Knight Artorias, in my opinion the best in Dark Souls 1. Manus, very challenging, fun boss. And finally Black Dragon Kalameet, the first ever dragon fight in a From Software game. And now for the one guy typing out the comment, what about Dragon God? Dragon God fucking sucked, so we're not counting that one. Not only did you get these 4 bosses, you also got 6 new locations, some new characters, some new enemies, some new weapons, some new armor, as well as some new spells and incantations, as well as rings. I checked online and it said this DLC should take you between 6 to 8 hours to beat, and it only costs $15, not a cash grab in my opinion. Now let's move over to Dark Souls 2. Now personally, I think Dark Souls 2 is the weakest game in the Souls franchise, but I don't think it's a shit game by any means. Dark Souls 2 has 3 DLC packs, or if you buy the Skull or the First Sin edition, you just get all the DLCs for free. Same with Dark Souls 1. Dark Souls Remastered, you just get all the DLC. But I had 3 DLC packs, and the first one we're going to talk about is Crown of the Sunken King. Crown of the Sunken King adds 5 new areas, some new weapons, some new shields, some new armor, some new spells, some new rings, new items, and it adds 3 different bosses, 2 of which I think are pretty good, Ilana and Singe? The Slumbering Dragon, 2 really good fights, and a shit fight as well. This DLC costs $10, and when looking up online, it should take about 5 hours to beat if you focus on the main objectives, and 6.5 if you want to 100% it. Not a cash grab in my opinion. The next DLC we're going to talk about in Dark Souls 2 is the Crown of the Old Iron King. Once again, the Crown of the Old Iron King adds pretty much the exact same type of content as the other DLC. New locations, enemies, items, weapons, armor, spells, rings, as well as 3 different bosses. Now the 3 bosses added are Fume Knight, which is an amazing boss, best one in Dark Souls 2 in my opinion, Surawan, which I think is the second best boss fight in Dark Souls 2, and the Smelter Demon, which is just a reskin, so you can toss that one if you want. This DLC, when looking up online, if you want to complete the main objectives, it should take about 4.5 hours, and if you're someone who wants to 100% it, you're likely to spend around 8 hours. This DLC is also $10. Yeah, this DLC is definitely not a cash grab. Now the last DLC that we're going to talk about in Dark Souls 2 is Crown of the Ivory King. The DLC adds the exact same type of content as the other 2, I don't think I have to list them all out again, and it adds 3 different bosses. Ava, the King's Pet, the Burnt Ivory King, which I kinda like the Burnt Ivory King, and Lud and Zalin, the King's Pets. Now honestly, the only boss fight I actually like out of these is the Burnt Ivory King. Lud and Zalin has a terrible fucking run back, and Ava's kinda decent. When looking it up online, the main objective should take you about 4.5 hours, and to 100% it should take 8.5. You might want to add another 9 hours on, running back to the King's Pets. Now honestly, I think this DLC is a bit weaker than the others, but the Burnt Ivory King is cool, and I think the snowy location is really awesome, despite that fucking awful run back at the frigid outskirts, but I definitely wouldn't call it a cash grab. Now honestly, I wouldn't buy these DLC separate, instead I would just buy the Scholar of the First Sin edition, which is $40. you get the base game and all the DLC, or the season pass, which is $25 and gives you all 3 DLC. Alright, now we get into the really good stuff. Bloodborne's DLC, The Old Hunters. This is probably my second favorite From Software DLC of all time, and my favorite's going to be coming up right after this. It has locations, weapons, firearms, hunter tools, armor, items, NPCs, and some of the greatest bosses in the franchise. It has Ludwig, the Holy Blade, the honest peak of Bloodborne. Best Bloodborne boss fight, hands down, leagues above everything else in the game. Orphan of Kos, such a great boss fight. Lady Maria, amazing boss fight. Living Failures, meh. Lawrence, another amazing boss fight. This DLC right here is a must-buy. There is no reason not to buy this DLC. Bloodborne's base game is already amazing as it is, and this is even leagues above that. When looking it up, if you're focusing on the main objectives, it should take you about 8 hours to beat, and if you want to 100% it, around 10.5 hours. It is $20 and worth every single fucking dollar spent. Next up, we have Dark Souls 3, and we have 2 DLCs to talk about. We're going to talk about the better one first, which is, in my opinion, the Ringed City. This DLC adds the exact same type of content as the previous ones we've talked about, as well as the 5 new bosses: the Demon in Pain and Demon from Below twin boss fight, the Demon Prince boss fight, which is connected to the Demon in Pain and Demon Below, Half-Light Spear of the Church, Dark Eater Midir, and Slave Knight Gale. The Demon in Pain and Demon from Below, Demon Prince, Dark Eater Midir, and Slave Knight Gale boss fights are top 5 in the franchise. When looking it up online, it should take you about 7 hours to do the main objectives and 10.5 if you want to 100% complete it. It costs $15 and is worth every single fucking dollar. The last DLC we're going to talk about before getting back to the morons video is Ashes of Ariandel. Adds a painted world, all the content I talked about before, as well as 2 new bosses, Champions Gravetender and Great Wolf, as well as Sister Freed. The Gravetender Great Wolf boss fight is okay, and Sister Freed is an incredible 3-phase boss fight. When looking it up online, the main story should take you 4 hours, and if you want to 100% it should take 6.5. Honestly, I think it'll take you guys longer because that Sister Freed boss fight is definitely not an easy one. The DLC will run you $15, and I definitely think it's worth the money. Now personally, I wouldn't buy these DLCs separate. I'd get the season pass for 25 bucks. I'm sorry for going on a massive tangent there, I'm wrapping it up now, I promise, but I see people claim all the time that the Elden Ring DLC will be a cash grab, and I just wanted to go ahead and elaborate as to why I think it won't.
That only FromSoft fanboys, fake gamers, and bad taste possessing gamers are going to continue to hype up religiously.
And for good reason. As I just showed there, my massive rant, it's pretty much always the best of the game that's in the DLC. And Elden Ring was already amazing, so I wonder how great the DLC is going to be.
Yes, it's EZGaming. Yes, I'm here to spit the facts. Yes, I am here to bring the truth. And yes, I am here to take gaming back.
Does this guy think he's like the Martin Luther King Jr. of gaming over here? Like, bro, it ain't that deep.
I was literally astounded with the trailer for Shadow of the Erdtree. I was literally...
Haha, get it, guys? Erdtree? He thinks the game is shit?
Mind blown. I mean, I was like jaw on the floor, like mind blown. Because this is again, if okay, see, I didn't want to get angry. See, I didn't want to be angry today. I wanted to have a nice, calm day. I've been trying to chill out for the camera. I've been having absolutely relaxed, chill live streams. I've been trying to work on my craft. I've been trying to work on my analysis. I've been trying to better my content and improve my review process.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
But here's the problem. I'm just a little angry. That's the problem. When I get angry, I can't really hold it in. That's the issue. And when I watch this garbage trailer for this overrated trash, all I'm thinking is this. I can't wait for all the...
Okay, I will admit, he has a point here. It is extremely cringy when adults make these videos where their mouths are wide open, like they're waiting for a certain object that I'm not gonna name to fly in their mouth.
I can't wait for all the shills and the paid-off reviewers and the corporate bootlickers. I cannot wait for all these gaming journalists, which insults me dearly. I cannot wait for all these gaming journalists to be 10 out of 10, masterpiece, best DLC. This expansion literally changed gaming, a revolutionary open world. This is the pinnacle of gaming in the 2020s.
I mean, Elden Ring itself is the best game to come out since 2020, and I don't even think it's fucking close. And Elden Ring itself absolutely changed gaming. Elden Ring is that game you can point to when you say this is how you design a game. Elden Ring came out at a time where I kind of was just giving up on gaming. I was like, man, I'll just find a different hobby, like this is boring me. And Elden Ring kind of came by when I was, about to give up on gaming, and showed me that there's still great games out there being made. And it showed me that I wouldn't have to rely on mods for games made decades ago to have fun. Elden Ring made me stop only playing AAA games because I realized just how much good stuff was out there.
Elden Ring does it again. Miyazaki the GOAT, Miyazaki the GOAT, long live Miyazaki. They got their little Dark Souls posters, their little Elden Ring little figures and little Funky Pops and little dolls and
This guy's talking shit about people with Dark Souls merch while he's holding Zelda merch.
You got adults. They got that all over the camera too. It's like boom, doll, stuffed animal, doll. You got 100 of them.
And how are you any different? You literally have a Master Chief helmet behind you and a Zelda toy in your hand. How is that any different than somebody having a bunch of Dark Souls merch in front of their camera?
But these are Elden Ring fanboys. These are what I call From Simps. These are Fraud Software fanboys.
I'll give it to him, man. Fraud Software is a new one. I haven't heard that one before.
They are religious. They are zealots. They are elitists. This community is extremely toxic.
Now, I've been in the Souls community for a couple years now, and I'd say it's anything but toxic. People are always willing to help in the Souls community. People are always willing to come in and help you beat bosses, help you get certain items. Sometimes they'll just drop you items. They'll offer to drop you weapons and shit. There are much worse communities out there than the From Software community. Have you ever seen the Rust community? The Ark community? Have you seen the goddamn Call of Duty community?
Losers from the FromSoft community have constantly been reporting me, constantly been infiltrating my community, constantly invading my comment sections, constantly talking about, you don't know what you're talking about, and you could never, skill issue, no maidens. Imagine getting your insults from internet slang.
You say the From Software community is constantly in your comment section, constantly insulting you or whatever, but I see you have a ton of videos on your channel just talking shit about the Souls games, and you're really surprised that people are coming to your comment section to defend their favorite game? If I put out a video tomorrow, what's a game I've never finished? What's a good game that... Red Dead 2. I've never finished Red Dead 2. If I put out a video tomorrow saying Red Dead 2 is a complete pile of shit, and I said that Red Dead 2 fans are idiots, and a bunch of Red Dead 2 fans come to my comment section and call me a moron, make fun of me, stuff like that, I mean, that's just the way the internet works. Are you new to the internet?
Yikes! That could never be me, but it could be you.
Why does that sound like something like a 14-year-old TikTok girl would say?
These FraudSoft simps, these From simps, they disgust me to the core. They are as fake as gamers get. And yes, I'm going to continue to remove your comments. Yes, I'm going to continue to ban you from the live streams.
Aw shit, we got another DSP / Wings of Redemption over here.
Yes, I'm going to stop all that meat riding. All that nut hugging. I am going to put an end to the glazing. I am the slayer of fanboys. I am the anti-glazer. I am the king of gaming. I built gaming journalism from the ground up.
I mean, that does a pretty good job at explaining why gaming journalism is such a joke.
That's why I am boots on the ground, covering the hottest, most requested topics. At the time, I am at the crime scene, immediately collecting data, immediately doing research, immediately getting evidence for this. And if you guys are unironically like, yo, I'm so excited, yo, I'm gonna be, you know what, you can have that, but don't get mad. Don't get mad when someone like me actually thinks critically.
Well, we're quite a decent way into your video and you haven't started doing so yet, so...
Actually thinks analytically, actually thinks about this. I want you to consider this, because I know you're like mauling right now. You're offended, you already hit the dislike button.
I mean, for all the shit that people give this guy, at least he's self-aware.
Again, if you guys keep joining the Discord and asking, why did you remove my comment? I'm going to say, well, why did you write that comment?
Why would you remove the comments? Like, when people get mad at me in the comment section, dude, I pin that shit. Honestly, I find it funny when people leave angry comments because it drives up engagement on the video and then more people check it out.
Why did you say something so stupid? So yes, I'm going to continue to remove your comments, but hear me out. This is a DLC.
Well, no shit.
This is a DLC. Imagine paying 30... I can't do this. Imagine paying $30 for downloadable content for an expansion pack.
There are Call of Duty games out there that sell you camos for one weapon for the same price of the Elden Ring DLC. There are fighting games out there that'll sell you like 3 to 4 characters for the price of the entire Elden Ring DLC. There are racing games out there that'll sell you 2 to 3 cars for the entire price of the Elden Ring DLC, but we're gonna sit here and act like the Elden Ring DLC is overpriced?
For a game and being grateful and hyping it up. It took them over 2 years. 2 years. 2 years to release a gameplay trailer or a DLC.
Yeah, that means they took their time with the product. I'd rather them take 2 years to work on the DLC than drop a trailer than release it in 3 months and it just be a pile of shit. I don't understand people who complain about games taking a long time to make. It means they're taking their time with the game and making sure we actually get a good product on launch. Well, most time anyway. A lot of the time we get a lot of shitty games that take a long time to make. But as I showed with the massive rant I had around the beginning of the video, I don't think that's going to be the case.
It took them really, like, slow down. Stop molding, stop seething, stop coping. Just, like, think about that. It took them 2 years to release a trailer for a DLC.
The reason why they probably waited a long time before dropping the trailer is because they wanted to wait until they were nearly done of the DLC to drop the gameplay trailer. This is way smarter than dropping a trailer before you're halfway done with the DLC and realizing you want to change direction when it comes to the DLC.
And we still have YouTube going crazy. We still have paid off reviewers hyping it up. It's already getting 9s out of 10s. It's already getting 90% and higher on Metacritic.
Upon hearing this, I decided to go check Metacritic for myself to see if this was true, and I was met with this. I don't see no 90s here. I mean, I'm gonna ask you for a source. In fact, I don't think I need to ask you for a source. I think everybody here watching this video knows exactly what your source is.
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
It's already getting IGN reviews. It hasn't come out yet.
Now, I'm not even going to bother to check if there's an IGN review because I feel like it's going to be the exact same outcome as the Metacritic score you talked about, but if they did leave a review, it's because they got an early copy.
When EZGaming, the king of gaming, is boots on the ground, real journalism, real investigation. I'm trying to save you time. I'm trying to save you money. All of a sudden, it's bait when I do it. All of a sudden, it's rage bait when it's clickbait, rage bait, troll, satire, it's garbage, it's trash, L content, it's all this trash when I do it.
I mean, the like to dislike ratio on your video definitely isn't lying.
But when other people do it, it's perfectly acceptable, it is normal, and they wanna make their little online friends. You wanna make your fake friends. You want to make your little online friends so you guys can glaze a multi-billion-dollar corporation together.
Glaze a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Let's go ahead and find out how much money is From Software worth. Well, according to everything I could find online, From Software is nowhere near a multi-billion-dollar corporation. They're not even a single billion-dollar corporation.
Imagine defending a multi-billion-dollar corporation.
Last time I checked, having like 30.6 or 30.8, I think it was, $million isn't being a billionaire corporation.
And hyping them up and praising them for giving you a trailer for a DLC after 2 years.
Of course we're going to be excited. The DLC for Souls games is always better than the base content, and the base content of Elden Ring was extremely good.
Back when we had quality, back when we had high standards, back when gamers were actually like the apex predators on the food chain of media, the internet, discourse, critique, review, analysis. Back when gamers actually had Back when gamers actually had a spine.
If gamers don't have a spine anymore, then how come everyone's giving Nintendo so much shit now for shutting down the Yuzu and Citra emulators? I mean, you even have a video on your channel saying the exact same thing that we're all saying, where basically Nintendo is scummy for getting rid of the 3DS and Switch emulator.
And actually stood up against corporate greed, actually took a stand, took a stand and a stance against copy-pasted trash like this. I mean, we're getting literally similar boss design. These are literally ripoffs of Dragon's Dogma bosses.
Do you want to go ahead and give an example of a boss in the Elden Ring DLC trailer that looks like a ripoff of a Dragon's Dogma boss? No? Okay.
These are literally, this is still and always will be. I don't care how many DLCs you put, I don't care how many expansions you put, I don't care how many years it takes. Elden Ring will never be even close to Dark Souls. Dark Souls was always a superior franchise. I'd rather play Dark Souls 2 than Elden Ring.
I definitely think you have the unpopular opinion here with this one, but I mean, if you enjoy Dark Souls 2 more than Elden Ring, then more power to you, man. Hell, I don't care if you'd rather play Redfall and Forspoken all day over Elden Ring, and those are two games where I'd rather staple my nuts to the back of a pickup truck than play.
Any day of the week, and I know you're molding because I just spit a fact.
So you preferring to play Dark Souls 2 over Elden Ring is a fact? No, that's a preference. You prefer Dark Souls 2 over Elden Ring, and you're allowed to have that preference, but that's not a fucking fact. If it were a fact, you would have worded it Dark Souls 2 is a better game than Elden Ring, which I don't think it is, but, you know, to each their own.
And you're still gonna buy it, you're still gonna pay full price for it, you're still gonna pre-order a DLC, you're still going to give a multi-billion-dollar corporation.
I like how this guy couldn't be bothered to do the research to find out that these guys aren't even a billion-dollar corporation, they're a multi-million-dollar corporation.
Your time and your money because of a trailer for a DLC. I am calling out every single one of you frauds on YouTube, all of you losers making hype bait content, and all of you trying to trick gamers and steal and break their backs and steal from gamers that put you streamers, you little content creators, they put you at the top, you stole their money, you stole their time, and now you're betraying gamers by hyping up soulless, corporatized, cash grab nonsense like Shadow of the Erdtree. Yes, it's been EZGaming. Yes, I was here to spit the facts. Yes, I was here to bring the truth. And yes, I am going to take gaming back.
You know, I thought DSP's video on Shadow of the Erdtree was bad, but holy shit, I think that one is even worse. How can you really sit here and get mad at people for hyping up the Elden Ring DLC when what we got from the base game is of such high quality and the DLC in Souls games is always better than the base content? FromSoftware has never released a shitty DLC. FromSoftware actually has never released a shitty product, so of course people are gonna be excited. We have high standards, FromSoftware never disappoints us. And that's pretty much all I gotta say. I'm out of here.